Hello, Chris Moberg again. Next in our quantum video training series is a short little video on um, eddy brake force in raw terms versus translated um, terms. And by that I mean the eddy brake is applying force against a tire which is being turned by the transmission and final drive of the vehicle. And so it has to provide force offsetting that geared up torque coming through the drivetrain. And so the torque we see reported on the graph is normalized, taking the gearing out. But when looking at the raw force that the eddy brake is applying, and that's really the percentage that we're commanding with quantum when we do static load or interpolated load, it's informative to look at that. So that's what I'm going to do here. So this is the familiar diesel Cummins truck. I'm going to go here on this axis, and I'm going to go primary torque PAU. And on this axis, I'm going to go roll 1, torque roll PAU. Alright, so in the primary torque was 288.3. That's the normalized torque, sort of back in quasi-engine domain terms. And the dash line at the top with a max of 908 is the raw torque or raw force on that the tire was seeing. And if you look down here on run 5, we had an RPM to speed ratio of 3.14. Now, if you multiply 288 times 3.14, may not surprise you that you get 908. And in this, the point of this is that running in a higher gear will lower the RPM to speed ratio, which in turn lowers the ratio between raw and normalized torque. In other words, your eddy brake will be more effective the higher the gear that you run in the car. We can't do anything about the final drive, but the higher the gear. The thing you can do if gearing alone doesn't give you enough braking force, if you increase the size of the tire, it will cause a gearing effect between the tire and the roll. Now, this run was done on a 15,000. I should say that if you're on a cradle dyno, you've got an implicit gearing up of your raw force or your tractive force, and so you enjoy a sort of an offsetting multiplicative effect that can counteract the gearing effect. And this is an advantage of the cradle, is it has geared up raw or tractive force, and so it can use in fact a smaller eddy brake than a big roll dyno that doesn't have this gear up effect. So on the cradle dyno, at low speeds, it's a strength that it gears up the raw torque, but a consequence of this is it's spinning the eddy brake at higher speed. And so as speed increases on the cradle, its effectiveness decreases. So a cradle will come on earlier with good offset or raw torque, but it will fade out earlier or have diminished torque sooner than a big roll eddy brake. So, pluses and minuses. But it's important to understand the effect of gearing on the force that your eddy brake can apply.